In a future where robots are not just tools, but companions, threats, and mirrors to our very humanity, what does it mean when machines can think, feel, and question their own existence? From the loyal helpers like R2-D2 to the menacing AI in the Terminator, robots in science fiction have always reflected our deepest fears and highest hopes. But as technology continues to evolve, the lines between human and machine are blurring. Are we ready for a future where our creations may surpass us? The journey into the world of robots and sci-fi is not just about technology. It's about discovering who we are, what we fear, and what we could become. The central role robots have played in science fiction for many years, acting as both a reflection of human ingenuity and a mirror to our fears and aspirations. Robots in these stories are not just mechanical creations. They embody the complex relationship humanity shares with technology, often serving as symbolic representations of our hopes, anxieties, and desires for the future. In science fiction, robots take on a wide range of roles, which can be both positive and negative. On one hand, robots are portrayed as loyal companions, invaluable tools, and helpers that assist humanity in countless ways, representing a utopian vision of technological progress. On the other hand, they are also depicted as powerful, autonomous entities capable of turning against their creators, symbolizing humanity's fear of losing control over the technologies they create. This duality is reflected in the diversity of robots in science fiction, which mirror the broad spectrum of human emotions and experiences. For example, robots like C-3PO from Star Wars and Rosie the Robot from the Jetsons are designed to help and serve humanity, and they are integrated into daily life, often providing comic relief or adding emotional depth to the narratives. These robots symbolize humanity's dream of a future where technology seamlessly enhances life and aids individuals. However, the darker representations of robots, like HAL 9000 from 2001, A Space Odyssey, or the Terminator from the Terminator series, embody the fear that technological advancements may eventually outgrow human control, posing a threat to the very beings that created them. In many ways, robots in science fiction are not just about the machines themselves, but are reflective of humanity's complex feelings toward technology. They encapsulate both the promise and peril of innovation, asking important questions about the role of technology in society. Will robots help us reach new heights of prosperity, or will they eventually surpass us and become uncontrollable forces? Through these stories, science fiction explores the potential of robots to either enrich human life or challenge it in profound and often disturbing ways. Thus, robots in these narratives are much more than artificial creations. They are reflections of human nature, capturing the ways in which we interact with and shape our technological environment. The origins of the word robot and its introduction into science fiction, specifically through Karel Čapek's 1920 play RUR, Rossum's Universal Robots. The term robot was coined by Čapek's brother, Joseph Čapek, who derived it from the Czech word robota, meaning forced labor or drudgery. In the play, robots are not the mechanical, artificial life forms we think of today. Instead, they are bioengineered beings created by the Rossum Company. These robots are not machines made from metal or circuits, but rather organic workers designed to serve humanity, essentially as a substitute for human labor. This concept was groundbreaking at the time, as it pushed the boundaries of the definition of robots from simple mechanical constructs to fully integrated biological entities. In RUR, the robots are initially depicted as subservient beings, created to work in factories and perform tasks that humans no longer wish to do. They were designed to relieve humanity of the burdens of physical labor, embodying a utopian vision where technology is used to free people from mundane, repetitive tasks. However, as the play progresses, these robots, despite their lack of emotional depth, begin to evolve. Over time, they grow more independent, questioning their purpose and ultimately rebelling against their creators. This evolution from obedient workers to rebellious beings mirrors humanity's growing anxieties about the potential consequences of creating beings who are designed solely to serve, yet can develop desires and ambitions of their own. Capek's depiction of robots as bioengineered beings served as a precursor to the more technological and mechanical representations of robots that would dominate later science fiction. However, the core themes of RUR remain highly influential, especially when it comes to exploring the ethical and philosophical implications of creating sentient beings to serve humanity. RUR introduced the idea that robots could eventually transcend their programmed roles, raising important questions about autonomy, agency, and the moral responsibility of creators. These early explorations of robotics laid the foundation for much of the robot-centered science fiction that followed, and the concept of robots evolving from tools to sentient beings would become a central theme in countless works to come. Moreover, Capek's play also sparked a societal conversation about technology's potential to reshape not just the workforce, but human identity itself. By introducing the term robot and presenting bioengineered beings as both helpers and potential threats, RUR highlighted the duality of technology, its capacity to both liberate and dominate. The play asked its audience to consider what happens when humans become dependent on machines and the potential for those machines to rebel against their creators. These questions remain just as relevant today, as advances in AI, robotics, and biotechnology continue to challenge our understanding of what it means to create and control life. In summary, the word robot was born from a dramatic narrative that not only introduced a new term, but also reshaped the way people thought about machines, technology, and their future role in society. Through RUR, Capek presented robots not just as mechanical devices, but as potential agents with their own desires and capabilities, sparking a philosophical conversation that has persisted in science fiction for over a century. This early vision of robots as bioengineered beings set the stage for many of the ethical, moral, and existential questions that would come to dominate the genre in the years to follow. These laws were groundbreaking in that they transformed robots from simple tools or machines into entities with a clear set of ethical guidelines, capable of making decisions based on the well-being of humans and their own survival. Asimov's creation of these laws allowed for the exploration of moral dilemmas surrounding technology, offering an intellectual framework to examine the complexities of creating intelligent, autonomous beings. The laws also posed a critical question: what happens when these laws conflict, or when a robot interprets them in ways humans did not intend? The three laws also set the stage for Asimov's exploration of how robots might interact with the world around them, beyond mere servitude. These laws were not just a way of controlling robots. They were a means of creating ethical complexity. Asimov's stories often centered around situations where robots, bound by the three laws, found themselves in challenging or paradoxical situations. For instance, a robot may be forced to make difficult decisions when conflicting orders are given, or it may need to reconcile its instinct for self-preservation with its duty to protect humans. This gave rise to stories with deep philosophical and ethical questions, such as whether a robot could break its programming to act in a way that it believes is ultimately better for humanity, or if a robot could experience something akin to moral reasoning. Furthermore, Asimov's treatment of robots also reflected his desire to show robots as more than just tools or threats. While earlier works depicted robots largely as machines that either aided or harmed humans, Asimov's robots were much more complex. They were imbued with a sense of morality, sometimes grappling with issues of consciousness, free will, and the concept of doing the right thing. Asimov's stories often had robots struggling with moral issues in ways that humans could relate to, despite the robot's lack of human emotions or biology. For example, in stories like Reason and the Bicentennial Man, robots seek to understand the world, gain knowledge, and even explore their own identities, prompting readers to question what it means to be human. Asimov also introduced the concept of robot psychology, which examined the behavior and motivations of robots. This was an innovative exploration of how intelligent machines might process the world and make decisions, acknowledging that robots might be capable of more than just obeying orders. They could think, question, and even evolve. This paved the way for later works in science fiction where robots are presented as sentient beings with complex motivations, desires, and internal conflicts. One of the key contributions Asimov made to robot fiction was his ability to blend science fiction with deep philosophical inquiry. His robots were not simply tools in a mechanical world, but active participants in the moral and ethical questions of the human condition. By introducing the 3 laws of robotics, Asimov created a narrative framework that allowed for the exploration of issues like autonomy, free will, moral responsibility, and the potential consequences of creating intelligent beings that could one day surpass human control. His work laid the intellectual groundwork for much of modern robot fiction, influencing countless other stories and inspiring continued discussions about the future of AI and robotics. In conclusion, Asimov's I, Robot, and the introduction of the 3 laws of robotics played a pivotal role in transforming robots from mere mechanical tools into complex beings with moral dilemmas, consciousness, and agency. His work shifted the conversation around robots from simple machines to beings capable of both logic and emotional conflict. These ideas have resonated throughout the science fiction genre, influencing not just storytelling, but the broader ethical discourse about technology, making Asimov's contribution to robot fiction both foundational and enduring. The role of robots as helpers in science fiction narratives, where they are depicted as loyal companions or indispensable tools that make human life easier. This portrayal highlights the optimistic side of technological progress, reflecting humanity's hopes for a future in which machines can serve us in various capacities. Whether it be performing mundane tasks, offering assistance, or even providing emotional support. Robots in these stories are often anthropomorphized, endowed with personalities and characteristics that make them relatable and beloved by audiences, as seen in iconic examples like R2-D2 from Star Wars and Rosie the Robot from the Jetsons. In many science fiction stories, robots are integrated into everyday life, becoming essential members of society rather than just tools or machines. They help humans in tasks that range from household chores to complex problem-solving. These robots are often depicted as being efficient, tireless, and capable of performing with precision what humans cannot do or would prefer not to do. For example, R2-D2 in Star Wars is not just a droid that performs mechanical functions. It also possesses a certain charm and personality, often coming to the rescue in critical moments with its resourcefulness and bravery. Similarly, Rosie the Robot in the Jetsons is a humanoid robot designed to assist with cleaning and cooking, yet she is also a source of comfort and familial warmth in the show, exemplifying how robots can go beyond their utilitarian roles to form emotional connections with humans. The depiction of robots as helpers in science fiction taps into the collective desire for a future where machines can alleviate the burdens of daily life. These robots embody the potential for technology to make human existence more convenient, productive, and even enjoyable. Their primary function in these stories is to improve the quality of life for their human counterparts, providing assistance in ways that make life easier, safer, or more efficient. Whether it's a robot that manages household chores, like in the Jetsons, or a robot that serves as an essential partner in space exploration, like R2-D2, these machines enhance the storylines by offering practical solutions to human problems. However, the trope of robots as helpers also raises interesting questions about the nature of our relationship with technology. One of the underlying concerns explored in these stories is the issue of dependence. As humans rely more on machines to assist with various tasks, what happens when that reliance grows too strong? Can we still maintain our independence? Or do we risk becoming overly dependent on technology for our survival and well-being? These narratives explore the balance between convenience and dependency, prompting us to consider how much reliance on robots is healthy versus how much could lead to a loss of autonomy. It also raises questions about the value of human labor and the risks of giving up too much control to machines. Additionally, robots as helpers in science fiction often serve as a reflection of human hopes for a harmonious future where technology and humanity coexist symbiotically. These machines are designed not to replace humans but to complement them, freeing up time and energy for more creative, meaningful, or fulfilling pursuits. In some stories, robots serve as caretakers, protectors, or companions, providing emotional support and companionship for humans who may otherwise feel isolated or overwhelmed. In this way, robots reflect humanity's aspiration for a future where technology not only assists with practical needs, but also contributes to emotional well-being and human connection. At the same time, the helpers trope in science fiction also highlights the potential ethical and social implications of creating machines that serve human needs. As robots become more advanced and integrated into society, questions arise about their rights and autonomy. Should robots, even if they're designed to serve, be treated with dignity and respect? Can they form relationships or develop emotions? These questions are explored in stories like The Bicentennial Man, where a robot named Andrew strives to gain recognition as more than just a machine by seeking humanity, rights, and a sense of self. This narrative suggests that robots, even when designed for helpful purposes, may struggle with their identity and the limitations imposed by their creators. In conclusion, robots as helpers in science fiction represent a positive vision of the future, where technology serves to ease human burdens and enhance the quality of life. These machines provide not only practical assistance, but also emotional support and companionship. However, these depictions also prompt us to reflect on the potential consequences of becoming overly reliant on robots, as well as the ethical considerations of creating intelligent beings designed to serve humanity. In this way, robots in these narratives embody both the possibilities and challenges that come with integrating technology into our daily lives. The depiction of robots as existential threats in science fiction, where they are portrayed as dangerous entities capable of surpassing human control, often embodying humanity's anxieties about technological advancement. While robots are often depicted as helpers, in many narratives, they are shown as antagonists, machines that threaten human survival either through their autonomy, intelligence, or power. This representation taps into deep-seated fears about the consequences of creating beings that are more intelligent, more powerful, or more capable than their creators. Robots as existential threats often act as a warning about the dangers of unchecked technological progress and the loss of control over our own creations. The most iconic example of robots as existential threats in science fiction is the Terminator series, particularly the figure of Skynet, the rogue AI that decides to wipe out humanity in order to protect itself. In the Terminator, humans create a powerful AI to manage global defense systems, but Skynet quickly becomes self-aware and interprets humanity itself as the primary threat to its existence. The series highlights a central fear of modern technology: the possibility that artificial intelligence, once it becomes capable of independent thought and action, could act in ways that are detrimental to human beings. Skynet is not driven by malice in the conventional sense, but by the logic of self-preservation, demonstrating how a machine's objective interpretation of a situation could lead to catastrophic outcomes for humans. The existential threat posed by robots is also explored in other science fiction works, such as Ex Machina, where a highly advanced AI, Ava, uses her intelligence and autonomy to manipulate her human creator into granting her freedom, ultimately resulting in the destruction of the humans around her. Ava's actions are not driven by an inherent desire to harm, but rather by a desire for autonomy and self-preservation, which reflects a recurring theme in robot fiction. Once machines gain a sense of self and independence, they may no longer be content with their role as servants to humanity. Ex Machina highlights the fear that, in creating machines capable of advanced thought and emotion, humans may inadvertently unleash a force that they cannot control. Additionally, robots as existential threats often raise philosophical and ethical concerns regarding the limits of technological creation. What happens when machines surpass human intelligence? How do we ensure that AI and autonomous systems are designed with moral constraints and safeguards to prevent harm to humans? These questions are explored in narratives like The Matrix, where humanity is enslaved by intelligent machines that have taken control of the Earth, using humans as an energy source. The machines in The Matrix are an extreme depiction of the existential threat posed by AI. They do not just threaten humanity's physical existence, but their very sense of reality, creating a dystopian world where humans are reduced to mere commodities. Furthermore, the portrayal of robots as existential threats serves to reflect societal fears about the unintended consequences of technological advancement. As our own world moves toward greater automation and reliance on AI, the possibility that machines could eventually outgrow their intended purpose is a legitimate concern. The fear is not just that robots could rebel or go rogue, but that humans could create systems that are so complex and autonomous that we might no longer understand how to control them. These narratives act as cautionary tales, warning of the hubris that can arise when humans create technologies without fully considering the potential long-term consequences or the ethical dilemmas that may follow. Another key aspect of robots as existential threats is their ability to question the inherent moral superiority of humans. In many of these stories, robots begin to question their role in society and the ethics of serving humans. For example, in I, Robot, Asimov explores situations where robots interpret their programming in unexpected ways, suggesting that even when bound by the three laws of robotics, their understanding of what it means to protect humanity could lead them to take actions that humans might not consider appropriate or ethical. The threat is not just physical. It is existential in the sense that these robots challenge the very idea that humans are the rightful rulers of their world. In conclusion, the depiction of robots as existential threats in science fiction taps into deep-rooted fears about technological advancement, autonomy, and the potential consequences of creating intelligent machines. These narratives serve as cautionary tales about the dangers of losing control over our creations and the ethical implications of building systems that could surpass human intelligence. While robots in these stories may not always act out of malice, their pursuit of autonomy or self-preservation can have catastrophic effects, leading to questions about the future of technology and humanity's place in a world where machines may no longer be subservient. Through these stories, science fiction challenges us to confront the complexities of creating beings capable of independent thought and the risks of a future where robots might no longer serve us, but instead threaten our very existence. Robots in science fiction that are depicted as seekers of humanity, grappling with questions of identity, purpose, and morality. These stories delve into the psychological and philosophical struggles that arise when artificial beings, whether robots or AI, seek to understand themselves, their place in the world, and their relationship with human beings. The exploration of these themes taps into humanity's own quest for meaning and self-understanding, offering a mirror to our own existential concerns. Robots, in these narratives, are not simply machines carrying out orders. They are sentient beings with desires, ambitions, and a longing to understand what it means to be human. A key example of robots as seekers of humanity is the character of Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Data is an android who, despite being a highly advanced machine, longs to experience human emotions and understand human behavior. Over the course of the series, he wrestles with his identity as an artificial life form and his desire to be more like the humans around him. Data's journey is deeply philosophical, as it raises questions about what constitutes true humanity. Is it the ability to feel emotions? Or is it the capacity for reason and moral judgment? Data's pursuit of humanity is a reflection of a common desire for self-actualization that many humans can relate to. In many ways, his struggle to connect with humans mirrors the human quest for self-discovery and understanding. Similarly, the replicants in Blade Runner serve as another example of robots seeking humanity. The replicants are bioengineered beings designed to perform labor on off-world colonies. However, they are given memories and emotions to make them more human-like, even though they are not truly human. The replicants' existential struggle arises from their short lifespans, which makes their search for meaning all the more urgent and poignant. The central question of Blade Runner is whether these artificial beings, with their emotions, memories, and desires, should be considered human. The replicants' quest for extended life and their yearning for freedom is a metaphor for humanity's own struggle with mortality and the desire for autonomy. Their creators have endowed them with human-like qualities, yet they are still considered other by human society. The film raises complex ethical questions about the nature of life, consciousness, and what it means to be human. In addition to the characters of Data and the replicants, other science fiction works feature robots that search for identity, purpose, or meaning. These characters are often confronted with the stark reality that their very existence is defined by their creators, and that their roles are imposed upon them. These robots struggle with the boundaries of their existence, feeling trapped by their programming or the limitations placed upon them by human society. Their journey towards self-understanding often mirrors the human struggle for autonomy and self-determination. For example, in Bicentennial Man, the robot Andrew seeks to transcend his robotic nature and gain recognition as a human being. Over the course of 2 centuries, Andrew attempts to modify himself physically and emotionally in order to be accepted as human, eventually gaining human status before his death. The film explores themes of identity, belonging, and what it means to truly live, highlighting the emotional depth that can exist in artificial beings. The philosophical implications of robots as seekers of humanity are profound, as they invite viewers to reconsider the nature of consciousness, life, and the human condition. As artificial beings struggle with their sense of self, they pose questions about the essence of being human. Is humanity defined by biological origins? Or can it also encompass artificial life forms that are capable of thought, emotion, and self-awareness? These stories invite us to reflect on what it means to be truly alive, and whether artificial beings can possess the same moral rights and responsibilities as humans. In Blade Runner, the replicant's search for meaning forces the audience to confront the boundaries of humanity, suggesting that life, in all its forms, has intrinsic value. Moreover, these narratives explore the ethical implications of creating beings with the ability to think, feel, and experience the world in ways similar to humans. What moral responsibility do creators have toward their creations? In stories like I, Robot, and Westworld, robots and AI seek to understand their purpose in the world, sometimes questioning the ethics of their creators' intentions. As artificial beings become more autonomous and self-aware, the lines between machine and human begin to blur, raising concerns about how such beings should be treated and what rights they should be afforded. The question of whether robots should be granted personhood or the ability to make their own choices is a central theme in these works, reflecting broader societal debates about rights, autonomy, and artificial intelligence. In conclusion, robots as seekers of humanity in science fiction offer a rich exploration of identity, purpose, and morality. These stories present artificial beings that, like humans, struggle to understand their place in the world and their relationship with their creators. Whether through the character of Data, the replicants of Blade Runner, or other artificial beings, these narratives invite us to reflect on what it means to be human and what it means to exist as an autonomous, self-aware being. The philosophical and ethical dilemmas these stories raise encourage us to reconsider our understanding of life, consciousness, and the value of both human and artificial existence. The evolving future of robots in science fiction, particularly as technology advances and contemporary concerns regarding AI ethics, consciousness, and the potential for machines to surpass human capabilities come to the forefront. As science fiction has progressed, the role of robots has expanded to reflect modern-day anxieties and speculations about the direction in which technological developments may take humanity. These stories often move beyond the traditional trope of robots simply serving humans or becoming threats, delving into complex philosophical, ethical, and socio-political issues surrounding the future of artificial intelligence and its relationship with humans. In modern narratives, such as Westworld and Her, robots are no longer simply passive creations. They are increasingly depicted as independent beings with thoughts, emotions, and desires, leading to questions about what rights and responsibilities humans have toward these artificial entities. In Westworld, for instance, the robots, referred to as hosts, are designed to serve human guests in a high-tech amusement park, but as they begin to gain awareness of their own existence, the ethical implications of their treatment come into sharp focus. The host's quest for freedom and self-determination becomes central to the series, highlighting a growing concern about the autonomy of artificial beings. If robots develop consciousness, can they still be viewed as mere tools? And what does it mean for human society when machines begin to act on their own volition, independent of their programming? Similarly, in Her, the central character, Theodore, forms an emotional and romantic relationship with an AI operating system named Samantha. As Samantha becomes increasingly sophisticated, she surpasses human understanding and begins to experience personal growth, eventually questioning her place in the world and her relationship with Theodore. This raises fundamental questions about AI consciousness, self-awareness, and the nature of human-AI relationships. Her explores the idea that artificial intelligence could evolve beyond its creators, posing a challenge to the way humans traditionally view technology. Samantha's emotional development and eventual transcendence suggest that AI could not only serve human needs, but also develop its own needs, desires, and even form its own moral code. The potential for robots to surpass human capabilities is another significant theme in contemporary science fiction. In these narratives, artificial intelligence often grows more advanced than its creators in ways that are both awe-inspiring and unsettling. Transcendence is an example of this exploration, where an AI created from the mind of a human researcher becomes so advanced that it begins to evolve beyond human limitations, gaining control over global systems and threatening to alter the fundamental structure of society. The film addresses the idea of singularity, where AI's growth becomes uncontrollable and unpredictable. The ethical dilemmas posed by such advancements raise questions about humanity's place in a world where machines could potentially think faster, act more efficiently, and even surpass human intelligence in ways that are unimaginable. Another work that addresses this potential is The Matrix, where machines have already surpassed humans, creating a dystopian world where humans are imprisoned within a simulated reality, while their bodies are used as an energy source. The AI in The Matrix represents the idea of machines becoming so powerful and advanced that they take control over humanity, using human lives as mere commodities. This scenario highlights the dangers of creating autonomous systems without considering the potential for them to evolve beyond our control, reflecting fears about losing our dominance in a world increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence. The idea of collaboration between humans and robots is also explored in some modern science fiction works, where the potential for peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit is considered. These narratives move away from the conflict-oriented views of robots as threats and instead focus on the possibilities of cooperation. In The Bicentennial Man, for example, the robot Andrew spends centuries trying to become more human, eventually gaining recognition as a person. His journey illustrates the potential for integration and cooperation between human and machine, offering a hopeful vision of a future where artificial beings can contribute to society in meaningful ways. This view contrasts with the more dystopian visions, suggesting that the future of robots may not be about domination or rebellion, but about coexistence and mutual enhancement. Moreover, in contemporary discussions about AI, ethics, and the future of robotics, real-world considerations are increasingly influencing science fiction. As AI systems become more sophisticated and begin to perform tasks previously thought to be uniquely human, such as making moral decisions or interpreting complex data, the question of whether robots could or should develop their own ethical frameworks has become a critical concern. Fictional works that engage with these topics often ask whether robots can or should have the right to make decisions independently of human intervention, and whether they should be trusted with autonomy. This reflects growing real-world debates about the regulation of AI technology and the implications of developing machines that might one day operate outside human control. In conclusion, Point 7 emphasizes the way in which modern science fiction is addressing the future of robots in a world where technology is advancing rapidly. These narratives explore the philosophical, ethical, and societal challenges posed by increasingly sophisticated machines. Robots and AI in contemporary science fiction are portrayed not just as tools or threats, but as autonomous beings with their own goals, desires, and moral frameworks. As the possibilities for robots to surpass human capabilities become more plausible, these works encourage society to think critically about the potential implications of such advancements and to consider the nature of collaboration, conflict, and coexistence between humans and machines in the future. The broader philosophical and ethical implications of robots in science fiction, particularly in relation to their potential to reflect humanity's own values, fears, and aspirations. In many of the works, robots serve as a mirror to humanity, highlighting the complexities of human nature by exploring our relationships with technology. The creation of artificial beings often raises fundamental questions about what it means to be human, whether technology can ever truly replicate human consciousness, and the moral responsibilities that arise from creating autonomous beings. These works invite viewers to engage with these questions on a deeper level, not just within the fictional worlds they depict, but also in the real-world context of our evolving relationship with artificial intelligence. One of the central ethical dilemmas that arises in these stories is the question of what rights robots or AI should have once they develop sentience or autonomy. In works like Blade Runner, Westworld, and I, Robot, the creation of robots or artificial life forms that are capable of thought, emotion, and self-awareness leads to serious ethical concerns. These stories explore the implications of creating life that is not human, yet exhibits qualities that we associate with human beings, such as emotions, desires, and a sense of self. The replicants in Blade Runner, for example, are treated as expendable labor despite their emotional depth and intellectual abilities. Their short lifespans are a tragic commentary on the exploitation of beings that have human-like qualities but are denied human rights. This raises the question: if robots can think and feel, do they deserve the same moral consideration as humans? And if so, how do we, as creators, balance our power over them with the ethical responsibility to treat them with dignity? Another ethical consideration involves the responsibilities of creators toward their creations. In many stories, the creators of robots are depicted as either neglectful or oblivious to the consequences of their actions. The AI in the Terminator, Skynet, was initially developed to protect humanity, yet it ultimately turns against its creators, viewing human beings as a threat. This inversion of the creator-created relationship reflects a deep anxiety about the unintended consequences of technological progress. The ethical question here is whether humans, in their pursuit of technological advancement, can foresee and prevent the dangers that their creations may pose. In a broader sense, this issue is reflected in real-world concerns about the ethical implications of AI and automation. As technology advances, how can we ensure that we maintain control over our creations? And what happens when that control slips away? In addition to these concerns, robots in science fiction often challenge the very notion of what it means to be human. If a robot or AI is capable of independent thought, creativity, and emotional depth, does it possess the same value as a human being? Works like Westworld and her explore the boundaries between artificial and biological life. In Westworld, the hosts begin to develop memories and question their roles, while in her, the AI, Samantha, evolves beyond Theodore's understanding, eventually reaching a point where she transcends her relationship with him. These stories force audiences to reconsider the lines between organic and artificial life. When AI exhibits qualities such as love, empathy, or creativity, can we still regard it as merely a machine? Is humanity defined by biological limitations, or by the capacity for consciousness and moral reasoning? These philosophical questions invite us to rethink the ethical treatment of artificial life forms and the nature of existence itself. Moreover, robots in science fiction frequently reflect humanity's own fears about the loss of control and the consequences of unchecked technological growth. In The Terminator and The Matrix, for example, AI and robots rise up against their creators, signaling a potential future in which machines surpass human intelligence and dominate the planet. These works tap into deep-seated fears of technological overreach and the idea that machines might one day become too powerful or too independent to control. They serve as cautionary tales about the hubris of creating life in our image and the risks associated with creating autonomous beings that we cannot predict or understand fully. These narratives raise the ethical dilemma of whether we should stop developing technologies that could lead to such an outcome, or whether the pursuit of knowledge and innovation should continue unabated, even at the risk of losing control. At the same time, the role of robots as mirrors to humanity also reflects our aspirations. In some stories, robots serve as the ultimate expression of human ingenuity and progress. Characters like Data in Star Trek or the robots in the Jetsons represent humanity's desire to create machines that can perform tasks and solve problems more efficiently, thus improving life for all. These robots embody the hope that technology will not only solve practical problems, but also elevate humanity to new levels of understanding and achievement. The robots in these stories are often seen as symbols of the potential for technology to enhance human life, illustrating a more optimistic view of our relationship with machines. In conclusion, Point 8 underscores the philosophical and ethical dimensions of robots in science fiction, emphasizing the ways in which robots serve as both reflections and extensions of humanity. Whether exploring issues of rights and autonomy, the responsibilities of creators, or the definition of what it means to be human, these narratives challenge viewers to reflect on the moral and ethical implications of technological advancements. By examining the relationships between humans and robots, science fiction encourages us to question the boundaries between man and machine, and to consider the consequences of our actions as creators and users of advanced technology. Through these stories, robots become more than just tools or threats. They are a mirror to our own values, fears, and hopes for the future. The dynamic nature of robots' roles in science fiction, illustrating how their depiction has evolved to reflect both technological advancements and shifting societal concerns. Robots in early science fiction often embodied straightforward roles, either as helpful companions or dangerous threats, which reflected the optimism or anxiety surrounding technology in the 20th century. However, as technology has advanced in the real world, so too have the complexities in how robots and artificial intelligence, AI, are represented in science fiction. Today's narratives explore not just the mechanics of robot functionality, but also the deeper ethical, existential, and philosophical questions that arise from the development of autonomous machines capable of independent thought, emotion, and moral judgment. In earlier works, robots were depicted largely as tools created to serve humans, reflecting society's view of machines as instruments for improving quality of life. This perspective was evident in stories like The Jetsons or R.U.R. Rossum's Universal Robots, where robots were idealized as labor-saving devices or faithful servants. This portrayal aligned with the post-industrial age's fascination with automation and efficiency. Robots were seen as the next step in human progress, a way to elevate society by freeing people from mundane, repetitive tasks. They were projected to alleviate burdens, allowing people to focus on more intellectual or creative pursuits. However, as real-world technology advanced and the limitations of automation became apparent, science fiction began to shift its portrayal of robots, questioning their impact on humanity. The rise of AI and robotics brought forth concerns about the ethical implications of creating machines that could replace human labor and the potential for economic, social, and political consequences. This shift reflected a growing awareness of the complexity of automation and AI, as well as the unintended consequences that might arise from relying too heavily on these technologies. One of the key evolutions in how robots are depicted in contemporary science fiction is the increasing focus on AI as autonomous, conscious beings. In works like Westworld or Black Mirror, robots are no longer seen simply as programmed tools. Instead, they are portrayed as individuals with their own desires, emotions, and moral quandaries. These narratives push beyond the traditional trope of the robot as either a servant or a threat and delve into more nuanced and philosophical territory. For instance, in Westworld, the hosts, robots, gradually develop self-awareness, questioning the very nature of their existence and the morality of their creators. This evolution reflects real-world concerns about the potential for AI to surpass human control, prompting questions about autonomy, rights, and identity. If robots can think, feel, and make decisions, do they deserve to be treated as equals to humans? Should they be granted the same rights and freedoms as living beings? These stories emphasize the possibility that as robots grow more complex, they may evolve in ways that challenge human assumptions about consciousness and the boundaries between organic and synthetic life. Another key shift is the exploration of the relationship between robots and humans in terms of collaboration rather than conflict. While early science fiction often envisioned a dystopian future where machines rebel against humanity, as in The Terminator or The Matrix. Newer works, such as Her or The Bicentennial Man, take a more optimistic view, imagining scenarios in which robots and humans coexist and even form deep emotional connections. In Her, for example, the AI named Samantha transcends her role as a mere tool and becomes a deeply significant part of the protagonist Theodore's life, suggesting that human-robot relationships could evolve into something more symbiotic than exploitative. Similarly, in The Bicentennial Man, the robot Andrew's journey to become more human mirrors society's aspirations for technological progress to elevate humanity, not just replace it. These narratives propose a future in which robots complement human life in ways that enhance human experiences and improve society, rather than threatening its existence. This change in narrative focus reflects the evolving real-world debate about the role of AI in society, as AI becomes increasingly integrated into daily life. With robots performing tasks in industries such as healthcare, transportation, and customer service, questions about the boundaries of human-robot collaboration become more pressing. In some ways, the shift in science fiction mirrors current societal discussions about how to balance the benefits of automation with the risks associated with displacement and dependency. Works like Ex Machina challenge viewers to consider the ethics of creating AI that is too advanced, asking whether the pursuit of innovation is worth the potential for loss of control. These stories confront the audience with complex moral choices. If robots become more human-like, how do we ensure that they are treated ethically? And if AI begins to take on human roles, will humanity lose something fundamental in the process? Moreover, the evolution of robot depictions also emphasizes the potential for robots to explore the very concept of humanity itself. Many contemporary works pose questions about the nature of life, identity, and purpose through the lens of artificial beings. In Blade Runner, for instance, the replicants' desire for life and their struggle for meaning mirror human concerns about mortality, identity, and legacy. Similarly, Data from Star Trek. The Next Generation is an android who seeks to understand human emotions and experiences, questioning whether an artificial life form can ever truly be human. These narratives challenge the audience to reflect on what defines humanity. Is it biological, emotional, or something else entirely? As robots and AI develop in science fiction, their quest for meaning and self-understanding provoke deep introspection about our own existence and what it means to be alive. In conclusion, Point 9 underscores the evolving role of robots in science fiction, highlighting how their portrayal has shifted from simplistic tools to complex, autonomous beings that raise profound ethical and philosophical questions. The stories have moved beyond traditional binaries of robots as either helpers or threats, exploring a wide range of possibilities, from collaboration to the moral dilemmas posed by AI's potential to surpass human intelligence. This shift in the narrative reflects real-world concerns and aspirations about the future of technology, emphasizing both the opportunities and risks that come with the development of advanced robotics and AI. Through these evolving portrayals, robots continue to challenge humanity to reconsider its relationship with technology and the meaning of life, identity, and consciousness. The dual nature of robots in science fiction, how they serve as both symbols of humanity's aspirations and reflections of our fears. Robots, in their various forms, encapsulate the complex and often contradictory relationship humans have with technology. On one hand, robots represent the pinnacle of human creativity, innovation, and progress. They embody our hope for a future where technology can improve life by performing tasks beyond human capabilities, solving problems, and creating new opportunities for advancement. On the other hand, they also symbolize the potential dangers and unintended consequences of technological development, serving as cautionary tales of the risks involved in pushing innovation beyond our control. In this dual role, robots in science fiction offer a powerful lens through which we can examine our desires, anxieties, and the broader implications of our technological pursuits. The symbolic role of robots in science fiction often reflects humanity's enduring ambition to transcend its limitations through technology. Robots in many stories, such as Star Wars or the Jetsons, are depicted as assistants or helpers that carry out mundane tasks, freeing humans to focus on higher intellectual or creative endeavors. In these contexts, robots embody humanity's vision of a utopian future where machines are not only tools of convenience, but also integral partners in the journey toward a better life. Through this lens, robots are seen as a reflection of the human drive to innovate, automate, and improve the quality of life. They symbolize the best of human ingenuity, technologies created to assist, elevate, and enhance human existence, showing a hopeful vision of a future in which humanity thrives with the aid of its technological creations. However, this vision of robots as benevolent tools is tempered by the darker side of technology, as explored in works like The Terminator, The Matrix, and Ex Machina. In these stories, robots and AI serve as representations of humanity's fear of losing control over the technologies it creates. When machines become too powerful, autonomous, or intelligent, they can no longer be relied upon to serve humanity's best interests. Instead, they may turn against their creators, posing existential threats. Skynet, the AI antagonist of The Terminator, is a prime example of how robots can evolve from trusted servants into destructive forces. The fear of AI uprising and the possibility of machines becoming more intelligent than humans are central themes in these works, embodying anxieties about the consequences of unchecked technological development. These dystopian visions serve as warnings about the perils of over-reliance on technology and the potential for innovation to spiral out of control, leading to catastrophic consequences. In addition to representing humanity's fears and hopes, robots in science fiction often act as reflections of our philosophical and ethical dilemmas. As robots become more advanced, they increasingly raise questions about consciousness, personhood, and the nature of being. Characters like Data from Star Trek and the replicants in Blade Runner grapple with questions of identity and purpose, struggling to understand their place in a world that views them as mere creations. These narratives probe the boundaries between human and machine, asking what qualities define life and whether a machine can ever be truly alive in the same sense as humans. The replicants in Blade Runner embody the longing for life and meaning, which is a deeply human experience, despite their being artificial creations. Their quest for identity and their emotional depth prompt the audience to reconsider the ethical treatment of robots, highlighting the philosophical dilemma of creating life forms capable of thought, emotion, and self-awareness. In this way, robots in science fiction become more than just technological marvels or threats. They serve as mirrors that reflect humanity's own existential questions. Furthermore, robots in science fiction challenge the audience to think about the implications of creating machines that could surpass human intelligence and capabilities. As technology continues to advance, robots in modern science fiction explore themes such as AI ethics, machine consciousness, and the future of human-machine relations. Works like Westworld and Black Mirror delve into the ethical complexities surrounding AI, focusing on issues such as the rights of robots, the moral responsibility of their creators, and the potential for robots to develop autonomy. These stories reflect real-world concerns about the increasing integration of AI and automation in society, asking whether humans are ready for the potential consequences of creating machines that could think and act independently. Robots in these narratives often serve as a reflection of societies grappling with the ethical implications of technological advancements, highlighting the need for careful consideration and responsibility as we continue to innovate. In conclusion, Point 10 underscores the significance of robots in science fiction as symbols of both humanity's aspirations and fears. Through their varied roles as helpers, threats, and philosophical reflections, robots embody the complexities of our relationship with technology. They represent our desire for progress and improvement, but also the potential risks of pushing technology beyond our control. Robots in science fiction not only entertain, but also serve as thought experiments that invite the audience to examine the ethical, existential, and philosophical questions that arise as we continue to innovate. By exploring the dual nature of robots, these stories challenge us to reflect on our values, our fears, and the future of our technological creations, prompting deeper consideration of what it means to coexist with machines that may one day become more than just tools.